I've always kind of wondered how effective a water wheel would be at generating electricity. The idea of having a constant water supply from a river seems better than an intermittent supply of wind or solar. So I decided to make my own, put it in a river, and see how many volts it would create. So I began by making the actual wheel itself, which is all based on this rectangular slab of wood, which I put a bearing in so that everything could spin nicely, and would attach to all the spokes, which themselves were made out of some old 2x4 that I just found. And the length of the spokes kind of determined how big the whole wheel was going to be, and therefore how much force it would have to turn the motor. So I decided to make the thing around about a metre in diameter, while also drilling a hole through the centre of one of the spokes to allow the rod to pass through. And then placing them back on the red base, creating 8 spokes in total, each at a 45-degree angle. I did then have to do all of this again to make 2 of them to make each side of the wheel, and which were then just attached to the base. Using mainly screws. And then this allowed me to put the 2 frames on top of each other to see if they aligned, which thankfully they did, and means I could start adding these, the paddles, of which there's 8, 1 for each spoke, ensuring that the wheel has a paddle in the water at all times. Which were then attached by very carefully raising one of the 2 frames, which did take more than one attempt, and then placing in 2 pieces of wood to hold the 2 frames at a set distance, allowing all of the 8 paddles to be cut to size and then attached each with 4 screws. And this process was just repeated until I had a completed wheel. And it did roll quite well, which is promising. But the way this water wheel works is slightly different to a conventional water wheel, which uses the weight of the water and its potential energy to rotate the wheel. However, this design just sits in the river and uses the momentum of the water flowing by to spin the wheel. It's very important for the wheel to be at the right height to ensure that each of the paddles sits at the right depth within the water, as if it's a bit too shallow, the paddles won't provide enough force to spin the wheel, and if the wheel's too deep, then it'll get caught on the riverbed. And therefore, to hold the wheel precisely at the right height, the frame looks like this, consisting of 2 pillars, each with their own base. And to ensure this frame is stable, it needs a lot of weight. So I went and found these old, big, heavy sleepers, which first need to be prepared, meaning they need all of the moss scraped off of them. And I did try and do this several different ways. I tried files, scrapers, chisels, even a little hatchet. And this did work at scraping off most of this sort of mulch. But to strip the wood, I need to use this, a hand planer. It uses a blade to scrape off shavings and leaves you with a very level and very smooth bit of wood. And then I just repeated this scraping, stripping, planing process for each of the 4 sides, leaving me with a usable bit of wood. And the logical thing to do would be to use a saw and just cut this thing into 2 bases. But where's the fun in that? And sure, this thing might not be clinical, but they only kind of need to be even. So I eyeballed halfway and just started swinging. And it wasn't exactly precise, but it doesn't need to be. What does need a bit more precision is the pillars, which were made out of this really dense, really hard chunk of wood, which seemed more like stone. It didn't really seem to want to be altered in any way. I tried the hand planer and it was having none of it, and it was an absolute pain to try and cut through this thing. I sat there with a saw for hours trying to just hack away at this. Then I resorted to just drilling holes in it to see if that would help cut through it. it didn't, so I had to change strategy. Which took a while, but did work. And then all I had to do was attach each of the pillars to each of the bases, which meant using chisels, which I first sharpened, and then I marked out the area that I had to cut away, first with pen, but then I went in with a small chisel to just outline where I was supposed to be hacking away, starting to just take some fairly decent chunks out of the thing. And then I just ramped up the size of the chisel each time until I got bored and started using an axe, with the edges being trimmed so that the pillars would fit, and then secured with 2 fairly substantial screws, which each required a hole drilled in the stone, and then tightened with a ratchet until the connection between the 2 things was actually pretty good. And I did have to do this all over again for the other half of the frame, but this time I decided to just skip the chisels and just go straight for the axe. But I might have got a little bit too excited and started chopping the wrong bit, as I really needed this section cut out. So I just sat down and started going at it with a saw, until I had a big enough gap. Or near enough big enough. And just with a little bit more hammering, drilling and turning, screwing, whatever this is, the other half of the frame was done. And all it needed now was a rod between them to carry the wheel. So from there, I then decided I should break one of the blades of my windmill, and then move everything out of the way so I can show you the design, which currently looks like this, with the wheel sitting between the 2 frames, attached to a simple gearbox which has 2 gears to increase the RPMs supplied to the motor, which itself is attached to the top of the frame. And where the initial design was to use 2 large screws to carry the weight of all these components, but it kind of made sense to instead use 1 large bolt that runs through everything. But then aligning that was quite difficult. I had to first drill one, then put it up against the other, then drill 1 pilot hole through both, and then later finish off the other hole. But it did seem to work in the end, although I did realise this bolt might not be big enough. And to give the water wheel some level of actual functionality so it can generate some electricity, it needs a generator, which in this case is just a motor that I used on a windmill. But it first just needs all of the blades ripped off of it, which luckily just left behind these old bolts and holes that I can use as the mounting position for the new gearbox. And then thankfully I can just kind of use the whole sort of same attachment method with this beige thing, which I just need to unscrew and just transfer across, and I can just whack it on top of one of the frames. And then for the actual gearbox, which is really just 2 gears, one attached to the wheel, one attached to the motor, I gave the wheel itself the larger white gear and the motor the smaller one. With this sort of setup, I think is a gear ratio of around about 5, which you can kind of see in this sort of simple demonstration where for every 1 rotation of the white gear, which is attached to the wheel, the black gear attached to the motor will rotate 5 times. This increases the RPM from the wheel to the motor, allowing the high torque of the wheel to be transferred to high RPMs, which better suits the motor. And at this point I can start putting everything together. I mean, there's not actually that many parts, and they don't really attach to each other, they just kind of sit next to each other. But I did get a new big rod that just passes through everything, which ideally could have been maybe a little bit larger in diameter. It kind of bends, but it rotates and the wheel moves, so it should be fine. But as this system kind of uses gears to transfer the rotational energy, which use teeth that interlock and pass through each other, they only really have 1 point of contact between each of the gears. So if some of the gears are misaligned and they don't rotate perfectly around 2 axes, then some of the teeth might become loose, and at that point they're not transferring anything. So it's very important that the gear attached to the wheel is perfectly aligned with the axis, which I just eyeballed. But anyway, I now need to work on the electronics itself, which again means stripping out all the internals from my old windmill, and then just sort of hammering it to the side of one of the pillars. And then once I'd connected each of the 3 phases and got a voltmeter out, this thing, the 3-phase bridge rectifier, was able to give me a DC voltage that I could read by itself using 6 diodes, which only allow current to flow in one direction, ensuring that a positive voltage is always applied to the positive and negative terminals, each connected to the voltmeter. And so in this sort of small little test setup, I was able to just spin the wheel by hand, and it was able to produce around about 5 volts. Which isn't terrible, but I realised it could be quite a bit more if I increased the gear ratio of the 2 gears. Meaning, if I took off this small black gear from the generator and put on an even smaller blue one, it would increase the gear ratio to around about 10. And so with this new setup, I would spin the wheel, and 1 rotation of the large white gear would result in 10 rotations of the smaller blue one. And so, by just simply switching out the gears and just reattaching the generator, you can kind of see that the speed, or the RPMs of the generator itself, is just a lot higher with this new setup, with it now being able to produce around about 10 volts. But this is just me sort of spinning it by hand. I don't really know how this is going to compare to the speed of the river. It could be faster, it could be a lot slower. So I just took everything apart and then just hiked to the nearest river. And I did kind of just wander up and down the river for quite a while, as I needed to find a place where the river wasn't too deep but also flowed quite fast. So then I just carried each of the 2 frames into the river, and they don't really attach to each other because any sort of bracing would intersect with the wheel. All they have is just a single axle connected to both of them, which, when I was taking into the river, I realised that there was another spot slightly upstream where there was a couple rocks all lined up together, which created this channel that had some really fast-flowing water. So then I just repositioned everything and just slid the bar in between the 2 frames. And it's around this point I realised 2 things. I need some new wellies, and the frames float, which I probably should have realised considering they are made of wood. But it's nothing a couple stones couldn't fix. And at this point I can actually add the wheel, which, after some minor adjustments, fit perfectly, and the thing started spinning right away, relatively fast. But then I did have to go and get a screwdriver to engage the gears, which nearly ended quite badly. But after avoiding this catastrophe, I was able to adjust the gears so that they would now actually engage, so when the wheel rotates, it will spin both gears and turn the generator. Or at least that was the idea, because when I would spin the wheel by hand, it would start going for a little bit, but then stop almost instantly. What had happened was this additional force that's required to turn the generator was becoming too much to spin the wheel. And at this point, I didn't really know what to do. I could maybe go back to the old gear I was using, but that would lower the RPMs and definitely reduce the voltage it was going to create. But then, as I was watching the paddles pass through the water, I realised that I could unscrew them and move them slightly further down each of the spokes so that they would be deeper into the water and experience a larger force, and be further away from the centre of the wheel, meaning that they will have a larger moment arm, creating a bigger torque. And so, after removing and then reapplying all 8 paddles, I was able to make a functioning water wheel. Now all that was left to do was to see how well it was functioning, as in put a voltmeter on it and see how many volts it was creating, which did end up only really being around about 4 or 5 volts, meaning that the river is just spinning it a lot slower than I was spinning it. But it also does mean that it's fairly optimized, as it's right on the point at which the motor's just starting to spin. And I'm sure with just a few changes and maybe a larger wheel, I'll be able to make a fair few volts with version 2.